You're listening to the Hustled Up Podcast. I'm Laura Natoli.
And I'm Holly Silva, and we are best friends since birth turned multi-passionate entrepreneurs and co-owners of Chores and More, a successful service-based business where everybody is treated like a best friend.
Welcome to our show where tactical business education meets fun and real conversations about this wild journey called life.
Get ready to be inspired. Grab your headphones, turn up the volume, and let's hustle up.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of Hustled Up. We are your hosts. My name is Holly.
And my name is Laura.
And today we're going to get a little raw. Okay. This episode is going to be an emotional one. But we're going to talk about it because I feel like some people don't like to talk about what we're going to talk about today, but we're going to address it. It happened. We got a 1-star Google review. And it was rough. Okay. It was rough. We knew it was going to come, but it was rough. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But before we dive into the tea, which it's not tea, it's just emotional stuff. But before we jump into that, I obviously want to remind you that if you love what you are hearing and if you appreciate the honesty of today's episode, if you could pause this or at the end, go and check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and give us that 5-star rating. Leave us a little love letter. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Give this video that thumbs up. It helps us so much, helps us get the message that we want to share out there and hopefully help other entrepreneurs feel not so alone, especially when shit hits the fan like it did for us last week. So that would be very appreciated. Now, again, it was a rough week. It was really rough. We got our review last week and we immediately went into panic mode. Laura cried a bit. I cried 2 days later. There was a lot of emotional breakdowns and we navigated through it and we came out stronger on the other side. So we're going to kind of talk about the journey of getting it and how it felt. So if you are... maybe you got one yourself and you're like struggling with it, or maybe you're in the process of growing your business. So this is a great preparation episode for the inevitable. So this is a good message for every entrepreneur out there. So you definitely want to keep on watching.
Are you tired of spending your entire weekend cleaning when you could be going out to brunch with your girls?
First of all, I love brunch. And second of all, yes, there are so many things I could be doing instead of cleaning my house on the weekend.
Oh yeah, like playing video games.
Or watching a movie with the kids.
Going on a date with your significant other.
Taking your dog to the dog park.
Going to the movies.
Solving world hunger.
Yes! Exactly. So this is why it is such a good idea to call up Chores and More for your deep and recurring cleaning needs.
And do you want to know something really, really cool?
What?
If anybody mentions Hustled Up when they call to book, they can receive up to $100 off their deep cleaning.
Up to $100 off. What are you doing still sitting there? Pick up the phone now, mention our podcast, and never have to spend your weekends cleaning again.
Simply go to choresandmorellc.com. You can fill out our request quote form there, or give us a call, send us a text, 631-397-0177. It is time to get back to doing the things you love. Let us take care of the cleaning. Okay, guys, we're back. First of all, isn't our commercial so adorable? Anyway.
I love it. It's like it's very Holly and Laura, I feel.
It's perfection. And honestly, it's cinematic, like, amazingness. And there's nothing better.
Steve vacuuming in slow motion. Like, you're welcome, everybody.
Amazing. What an actor. Like, what a wonderful, like, so good. But first, before I jump into the 1-star, I don't even like saying it out loud. It's like,
I know.
I like want to gag.
I want to like vomit. Yeah.
I want to gag every time. But I want to quickly talk about the importance of getting Google reviews. Now, we will save an entire episode on Google and Google reviews and all that stuff. But Google reviews are important. They are going to help establish trust for your business. They also improve the SEO of your website and like of your Google listing, I should say. Like, so when, the more you have, the more Google is understanding, oh, they're a cleaning business. Oh, they're good at what they do. They're punctual. They're on time. Like whatever people are saying about you. It just helps improve the SEO of your Google listings and your ads and things like that. And then when you also get more Google reviews, Google starts to understand, oh, wow, this is a good business. It's pretty reputable. And the algorithm starts to favor you. So your likelihood of popping up at the top of organic searches is better. And overall, it just improves your entire presence on Google. Plus, according to Forbes, I read this in an article on Forbes just earlier, 60% of people check out your Google reviews before deciding to use your business. So,
Wow.
yeah, that's a high number. And honestly, who even knows if that number is still accurate? I feel like it might be more, but like having reviews and testimonials, it's really important for your business. And since Google is like the most popular search engine, people are going there first. In fact, I think people probably use Google more than they use Yelp and things like that. Also, I do want to apologize. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but the Blue Angels planes are flying over us right now. And we're recording this right before Memorial Day weekend. So if there's a little bit of like, if you're hearing the planes, I do apologize. Hopefully not, because I have my headphones on, but just putting it out there. So back to Google. Really important to get those reviews. But the more you ask for reviews and the bigger your business gets, the greater the chance of getting a bad one or getting a not so perfect one. I remember we got a 4-star last year. Great review. Very kind, very sweet, but 4 stars. Something fell short. I don't remember what it was. We immediately reached out to the client and said, what did we do to get like 4 stars? Like, what could we do to get 5? You know, like what would make it a 5-star? And it was something very minor. But some people are just like that. They look at every little tiny detail, and if it's not perfect, they don't believe you deserve 5 stars. And so that was tough. And
That
then
was nothing. Like back then we were like, 4 stars. Where's the 5th one? It's like if we only knew then.
if we only knew.
No.
If
I'm being
we
dramatic.
only knew. I know. And so let's cut to what happened last week. Actually, it all started 2 weeks ago. We sent our 3 best staff members, actually, because they are all 2 deep clean specialists and 1 in training. So 3 really strong people. We sent them out to an initial cleaning. And long story short, in a nutshell, they missed a couple of things. Now, nobody is perfect. And for this reason, we personally offer a 24-hour guarantee. What does this mean? And a lot of cleaning companies do this, and if you don't, you should. It means that if the client notices something within the first 24 hours, this is why we always encourage them to look. I know it's easier to bury your head in the sand and not ask for feedback, not ask them to look at your work. We say, please check everything, you know, and even with our deep cleans, if the customer is home, we do something that we call a pride walk. We did not make that up. But where we have the deep clean specialist kind of lead the client through the house and say, oh, we did this and we did that. We did this and we did that. So really good stuff. This client was not home. There were a few things missed. It was a big job, and he was not thrilled. He was not happy. And so he texted us right after they left, after business hours, and said, oh, you know, I'm not really happy and I'm a little frustrated. Things were missed and blah, blah, blah. So we immediately responded. It was after business hours, but we take complaints very seriously because customer service is number one, and we want to be able to offer recleans. So if they complain within the first 24 hours, going back to the guarantee, they get a reclean. We don't do refunds. We don't do partial refunds, nothing like that, unless it's like an extreme circumstance. We do recleans. We go back, we fix the few things that we missed, and client's usually happy and calls it a day and everything's fine. This is not the first time we've had to do a reclean. And we offered a reclean. He rejected the reclean. Declined. He rejected us. So rude.
We're not dramatic. Our trauma is showing.
And so he declined the reclean, and I was like, oh, okay. Weird. And he said, oh, we're gonna hire somebody else. Like, we don't want to move forward with you guys. I'm like, well, you can't win them all, right? This is like the first learning lesson. And I said this the same day. I said to Laura, I said, we cannot win them all. And we're spoiled. We win not a lot of them. a lot of our deep cleans, they love us, they book recurring. Like we really have like gotten it down to a science, but sometimes things go astray. And some people do, unfortunately, this is going to sound mean, but they expect perfection. And it's unfortunate. And we have to stop as a society expecting perfection with everything. And we, as a business, we definitely strive for excellence all the time in everything that we do. And again, we know that we are humans and some small things might be missed. In this case, it was a windowsill. I don't remember what else. Backsplash, like some areas of the backsplash, some minor things that would have been easy to fix. One tech could have gone back and fixed it in an hour, but we already made that bad first impression. And some people don't want to give a second chance. And it's unfortunate and it sucks. And I wish that we could control how people feel or what they see, because in this instance, our tech was sharing some before and after photos of things that she had did that were amazing. And we were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We're going to win this account. It's going to be weekly. We're so excited. And then the windowsill wasn't done. And there was a couple spots on the backsplash. And it's unfortunate that he didn't see the perfection in the shower, but instead saw these tiny little things. And not saying it's anybody, not like trying to give blame to him or give blame to us or anything like that. Like, it's just a situation where things were missed. And any cleaning company can tell you, or house cleaner, solo cleaner, whatever, that sometimes things are missed. I think it's safe to say that every single person has gotten some kind of like complaint or some kind of feedback saying that something was either missed or not done perfectly or not done super well or whatever. It happens. And this is all part of being in the service industry, right? Like, it's just going to happen. What you do is not going to be for everybody. And I was like, okay, we can't win them all, right? Brushed our hands of it, moved on. He's going to find somebody else. All is good. We did the best that we could. He still got a great cleaning, but maybe he just wants something different. He wants something, where they're going to focus on tiny little details or not miss a windowsill. I don't know, whatever. But then a few days later, Laura, tell him what happened. You were the one who discovered it.
I did. This may be why I was the one that shed some tears right away. But yeah, one fateful day, a few days later, I'm perusing my email inbox and up pops a, you got a Google review email. And I went, ooh, Google review, yay. And then I saw the name tied to the Google review and my heart literally sank, because before even opening the Google review, I knew exactly how many stars it was going to be. And it's so funny because we said this, but you always know it's coming. We've been saying, especially recently as we've been growing and growing, we keep saying we know it's going to happen. We have to prepare ourselves for when that bad review does come in. But I don't think you can ever fully emotionally prepare, because logically we know, yes, it's going to happen. It's a numbers game. If you service, 1,000 clients, chances are one of them might not be super happy, but you can never emotionally prepare yourself. So my heart literally sank into the pit of my stomach, and I opened it and I read it to Holly. And it wasn't just a 1-star review. It was a 1-star review that portrayed the situation very different than Holly and I portrayed the situation, right? Because listen, again, we're not perfect. And, Holly and I are the first ones to accept feedback and criticism because we want to grow and we want to fix it. We always say it, feedback is a gift. I don't shy away from feedback or criticism, but I do shy away from it when we are not given the opportunity to correct it, or when that criticism looks differently than how we perceived it, and they always say it, when a situation happens, there's their side of the story, your side of the story, and then somewhere in the middle lies the truth, right? Like, we all know that that's kind of the case. But I read it, and I'm not going to lie, y'all, I literally was trying so hard not to cry, but it happened. I shed some tears. Holly was very level-headed. We were both very upset, a little bit of anger, but we quickly went into action mode. We didn't let it destroy us completely. We went into action mode. Holly quickly typed a response, and that's another topic that I want to talk about in the Google review episode. It's very important to respond to all your Google reviews, the positive ones, the negative ones. I love that Google lets you kind of, share your piece if there is a negative review. But Holly immediately typed up a very appropriate response to an like mwah, like chef's kiss kind of response for this Google review. I loved it. It was tasty. Um, and then we reached out to some family and friends or some current clients that have used our service and said, "Hey, listen, can you give us a positive review if you've had a good experience with our company?" And they did, because we don't want that first review that people are seeing to be a 1 star. So we quickly went into action mode, reached out to a few people, and they were people that used our service. It's not like we're getting false reviews. We reached out to people who have used our service, and immediately, our community came and helped us and gave us some 5 star reviews, and it was better. But I think the important thing to remember here is you're not going to ever be fully prepared to receive that information, and how you respond to that information and what you do is what's important, because you can let it eat you up, man. And I did for a little bit. I let it eat me up. You can get angry, you can get upset, and that's totally fine to feel those things. But then what are you going to do to fix the situation, right?
Yeah. I I think a lot of times, especially as women, and I know most of our listeners are women, when you get emotional, right, you feel like you're doing something wrong. I'm not allowed to get emotional. I'm not allowed to be sad. I'm being a baby. I'm being dramatic. I'm not dramatic. But seriously, you can't. And I think that's bullcrap. I think that as long as you are able to get emotional, and it was really, we shared tears with our coach, and that like was actually really it was like a total shift in my mindset, because I was like, wow, even she got emotional when we were getting emotional about not only that, but like the week was just pure chaos, but that's for a different day. And like there were multiple things that happened in addition to the 1 star review, and it was one of those weeks where everything went wrong, but that was just perfect start to that. And I think as long as you can process, it's important to process. Like you can't bottleneck all of your feelings. And if you need to cry about something work related, just do it. Cry it out and be sad and be and 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 that's okay. And even if you need to take a day, and just be sad and kind of like take it easy with work. Take it easy with your workload. Step away for a little bit. And and then come back fresh and say, what now? I think that that is so important. And I think that it's hard to do. It's, I think, kind of like a learning process, and it's almost like an art a little bit. And I definitely, it takes practice. It really does. It takes practice. When bad things used to happen to Laura and I in our business, like I would be out for the count for like a week straight. I wouldn't be able to do anything. I'm able to come back, like process my feelings and come back. I'm not trying to conceal them. I'm not trying to hide them. Laura let out a cry. I cried a few days later because at that point I had just reached my tipping point. So a few days later it was my turn. And we were still able to figure out like what needs to happen now. And like Laura said, we reached out to a couple people. We ended up getting 6 more, no, not 6, 10 more 5-star Google reviews after that. So if anything, it pushed us to get even closer to our goal of 100. And Laura had said something to me, which I love what she said a few days later when it was my turn to cry it out. And she had sent me a message and she was like, it's a rite of passage. And I didn't think of it like that. Obviously, nobody's thinking of it like that when something bad happens like this. And I have held that with me since that day that she said it, because it is a rite of passage. As you grow bigger and you work with more people, you're going to unfortunately come across more people who you will not please. You just won't. No amount of being friendly, having good customer service, trying to make the situation right, trying to provide an excellent service or cleaning in our case, there are just going to be some people who don't care. They don't care. They're angry. Maybe they have something going on in their lives. Like, we don't know what happened with this client. Maybe he had something going on privately that we don't know about. Maybe he was just mad about the windowsill and the few things that were missed. I don't know. To this day, I'm frustrated because it's quick for me. I'm quick to be like, why would somebody want to do that? Why would they want to hurt a small business? Why can't we reason with him? Why would they want to tarnish our reputation? I was telling my boyfriend, he was cracking up at this. I was like, my business is deflowered. I said he deflowered my business. I still think that's so funny. Such a funny word. And he was like, You're ridiculous. And he was laughing. He was cracking up at that. But that's how it felt. I was like, I like our business is deflowered now. Like our perfect, like our, near perfect reputation is now soiled at the end of the day. I mean, granted, we have 63 reviews and 62 of them are positive. So as long as your ratios are good, nobody's going to look at that bad review and say, oh, I'm not hiring them, they got one star review. Nah, they're not going to do that. They're not. But truly, and this goes back to even like our branding episode that we did years ago, you are not for everybody. And some people, and I think the big lesson here is that you can't control people. You can't control how they think. You can't control what they see. You can't control how they see it. You just can't. You can persuade, you can convince, but you cannot fully control somebody, and you can't control how they're going to feel, how they're going to react. And it's unfortunate that some people, because we pride ourselves on being friendly, communicating, being kind, being selfless. Obviously, our cleanings are good. People wouldn't hire us if we were crap cleaners. But something that sets us apart is our ability to communicate well, set expectations, be friendly, have a little chit chat with you, make you smile, make you feel not alone, be a companion, all these things. Some people they don't give a crap about that. It don't mean nothing to them. They want a perfect, pristine service. Do I think the expectations are unreasonable? Yes. Some people have unreasonable expectations. I've been guilty of that with other services. I've been guilty of that. Everybody has, but it kind of is what it is. It's like, it's not the great message probably that some people wanted to hear, but it is what it is. It's going to happen. And it's important to, if you're going to get emotional about it, get emotional about it, get upset about it, be mad at the person who did this to you. That's okay. You're allowed to feel that. You're allowed to be that way. And then say to yourself, it happened. I cannot control this. I cannot get this person to change it. Let's move on from it. Let's use it as a learning lesson. Let's make ourselves better.
Yeah.
And we got 10 Google reviews in 1 week from after that, because I was desperately asking people for 5-star reviews. But it was the catalyst that sent us over 50 and over 60. And so you kind of have to look at it that way. Sorry, I
Yeah,
know it's not
it's
that. It's
true.
not, is it the inspirational message we wanted to say? I think it is. I think it is. I really do.
I think
I
it
think it is.
is, honestly, because there's something really freeing too, which Holly had to keep reminding me of this. There's something really freeing about understanding and realizing that you cannot control other people's thoughts and actions, right? Because that there's something really freeing about it. I think that really the other message here is when these situations arise and you do make mistakes, it's important that you do everything in your power to make it right, right? So in this case, we answered after company hours, which I'm not even saying that you should have to do that. In this case, this is what we decided to do. But we answered outside of company hours. We sent a very nice, apologetic message taking full responsibility for the situation. We did not put any blame towards the client. We accepted responsibility, offered to come back and make it right. That was declined. Okay, we could have gotten upset and nasty about the fact that this person declined our reclean, but instead we said, I completely understand. We will use this feedback to continue to grow and improve. And that was it. Holly and I did literally everything within our power to fix and change the situation. But at the end of the day, we can't change people's emotions and thoughts and feelings. So we're able to sleep at night knowing, okay, we did everything in our power and we still got that 1-star review. It's going to happen, but I can sleep at night knowing that this was not on us and we are going to use it to continue to grow and improve the situation. You can't control other people and you can't control what's important to them. And this really makes me realize too that I don't really want to do business with people that expect perfection, because perfection does not exist. And I can tell you right now that if you have expectations of perfection in anything in life, you're going to be very disappointed throughout your life, because perfection does not exist. And, that was a big learning lesson for Holly and I too. We thought we would never be able to get out of the field because we were like, well, if we're not there, it's not going to be perfect. And guess what? It's not. And that sounds very braggadocious, but it's true. That's what we thought. If we're not there, it's not going to be perfect. But you know what? We've trained our people to be excellent, which in my book, that's good. And the other thing too, to I think realize is that different things are important to different people, right? So in terms of that reclean, that 24-hour reclean, this was something that we had to learn, because I remember one time somebody complained about one baseboard being moved. One simple baseboard wasn't dusted. So me and Holly were like, oh, I don't know. Should we offer a reclean for one baseboard? That seems a little silly. So I asked some people in my community and they said, well, if that one baseboard is important to the client, it should be equally as important to you. And I was like, wow, you're right. So now it doesn't matter what it is. If that one baseboard is what's important to your client, make it important to you. Try your best to fix it. If they're still not happy, then you've done all you can do. And I think that's a good lesson to be learned here. I think it's got some empowerment there.
Yeah, and I think this might be tapping into my petty side, so I do apologize for it, but it also gives you a leg to stand on in your response on the Google review.
Oh man, I'm telling you, chef's kiss. Go. I don't want to tell people to go look at it, but I'm also like, go look at
it. Because at the end of the day, we did do all we could. And we wanted everybody to know that. He didn't say that. Oh, they offered me a reclean, but I said no, but they suck, so they're getting a 1-star. That's not what his said. So I had to make sure that the world knew that we offered the reclean. We tried to make it right and, all that stuff. And I think it just gives you a better leg to stand on. And realistically, I think having a good customer service, like just really treating everybody with kindness, even the people you don't like, it's really going to take your business a long way. It's going to really establish your reputation. And there's a reason why we have 1 bad review versus 62, I think, positive ones, and if you're getting a lot of 1-star Google reviews, you need to look within. I don't think that's it happens sometimes situation, but in this case, you cannot please everybody. And it is really freeing, and still something I have trouble grasping. You're not going to just grasp this overnight, but it's important to remember it. And so if you haven't gotten one yet, I want you to use this episode and to prepare for it possibly happening to you. If you've already gotten one, I'm sorry. I know how much it sucked when you got your first one. I know, because I've been there. We've been there and we know. So I'm sorry. And I'm hoping that talking about it today and addressing it, I feel like it's so taboo talking about bad reviews. It feels weird. It's going to feel weird to drop this episode for sure. But I'm hoping that being honest with you guys and talking about it and addressing the emotional feelings behind it, I'm hoping it helps you in some way. Either you resonate or you are prepared. And as our coach says, there's a new devil at every level. You've heard me say it in the Texas accent, a new devil at every level. I always have to do it in that accent. And you just have to remember that. And I love, again, Laura said it's a rite of passage. So if you've gotten your first 1-star Google review, welcome to the club. Your t-shirt will be in the mail shortly. And, yeah, I hope it was helpful. I really do. I hope being a little vulnerable today helped you out. I hope it did something for you.
Yeah.
you know?
We're always like, that is the one thing that I love about our podcast, not to toot our own horn, but Holly and I do not shy away from those taboo topics that nobody talks about, because I think that's what makes taboo topics specifically so lonely, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's kind of uncomfortable to talk about, oh, we got a 1-star review. Everyone wants to hide that and not talk about it and pretend it's not there, but it's there. And guess what? When people are going through your Google reviews, what do they click? They click highest and then they click lowest because they want to know both ends of the spectrum. Nobody's deciding whether or not to go with your business because of a 4 or a 3-star review, right? They want to read the best and the worst. So, we're always here to discuss those taboo topics that other people do not want to talk about and pretend is not happening. And we're always open to other suggestions. So if there is a topic where you're like, oh, I want to ask about this, but I'm kind of scared, I don't know, ask us. Reach out to us. We are here for it. We are always willing to be vulnerable and raw and real with you guys, because business ownership is tough. And I feel like it's even tougher when you pretend that the bad things aren't happening.
It's definitely not for the weak.
Yeah, it is not. You got to have thick skin to be a business owner. If you, especially if you plan to grow and scale, because again, there's a new devil at every level. You better thicken your skin if you want to be a big business owner.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So I hope this was helpful. Reach out to us if you want to bitch about it, if you want to vent, or if you have something else, like Laura said, that you want us to talk about. We're here. You can find us at hustleduppodcast@gmail.com. Well, that's our email. You can email us at hustleduppodcast@gmail.com, or you can find us on Instagram at hustleduppodcast. Go give us a follow. Connect with us over there. We want to hear from you.
Yeah. And while you're at it, go check out our Chores and More Instagram and TikTok at Chores and More. You can go find me at Laura Anatoli on everything.
And yeah, for me, I'm just gonna I'm really all over the place with my branding right now.
You're having a
I'm
social media identity crisis, I feel.
Yes, I am. No, I actually am. It's a big problem. It's a big problem. I will put my links below. But you could just go to planningandpolish.com or hollyansilva.com, and I don't even know what my handles are anymore. So just go there. Just go there.
Just go find us. We're very accessible. We're like
Very
literally all over the
accessible.
place. Just find
Everywhere.
us, chat with us. But I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that if you are going through a difficult season in business and had a rough week like we do, that you know that it's only going to get better from here. You are tough, you are strong, and you are capable of all the hard things.